Fast and Furious. I think we're live.
We are.
This is my first time using Ecamm and going live at a scheduled time with a guest. I'm here with Sam. My name's
Does this
Will.
work?
It does
Can you hear
work.
me?
Yeah.
I figured it out in the nick of time. Look at
Ooh,
that. Down
in
to
the
the wire.
nick of time, but maybe we should test it. If you're joining, welcome. And if this is watching if you're watching this later, welcome. I'm gonna wait for more people to show up,
Watch
but
this. Welcome.
yeah, Sam and I are gonna talk about his new camera that he got. Sam, are you excited?
I'm so excited for my new camera.
Oh, things are working. Look at
Um,
that. Your mic
so
sounds
yeah,
good. Do you want to
it sounds good.
do you want to
Sweet.
mute yourself and I can talk while you mic yourself up, or you want to hold it the whole time?
I actually really like holding it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
no. I mean, yeah. I mean, whatever you want to do, man. It's your life. You can live it the way you want to live it. Okay. Well, recently, Sam has been going through a lot of, I don't know, what would you call it? Like camera woes,
Midlife crisis.
camera discovery, stylistic choices, trying to figure out what you want to be shooting on as far as, cameras go. And he's gone through a lot of systems. You've shot a lot, but most recently, you've returned a couple things, you've bought a couple things, you've tried a couple things, and now you've landed at one thing, which I'm a huge fan of, the Leica Q2. And I want to talk about it because I honestly, like, all said and done, I do believe that it is I know it's expensive and it's out of the realm for a lot of people, but I think it is the best made digital point and shoot fixed lens camera of all time. Of all time. No question. Digital.
I would argue that it's one of the best cameras ever made.
One of the best cameras for sure. Oh, now your microphone's upside down, Sam, so it doesn't sound as good.
Man, see, I told you I should just hold it.
I mean, you can. I wasn't saying you shouldn't. We're not audio guys, you know?
This is my least favorite thing of video. Does that sound all right?
It sounds better. Yeah. Doesn't sound as good when you're holding it, but that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
Maybe I should check. Maybe if you're watching, if you could let us know how we sound, how I sound, how Sam sounds, how we look, are things going through. We got 4 people watching. I got the comments open so we can talk to you. Hello.
Do you know who the 4 people are?
I do not know who the 4 people are because this is a last minute live stream. I don't think a lot of people knew about it. So I'm going to start posting it in our places of things.
Wait, so is this live streaming on YouTube? Where's this live streaming?
We're live streaming through my YouTube channel. This is going straight to my YouTube channel.
God.
So, my 298 followers will be able to see it, and maybe some other people based on tags and stuff. But yeah, I want to keep it interesting.
There we are. Oh man, see, I'm on 70 millimeter for my shot, and I feel like I'm a little close. Look at that.
We're about the same size. What camera are you using right now?
For this, I'm using the Sony FX3 with a 70-200, which is not a practical lens to do this kind of thing with.
No wonder it looks so good.
That too.
The 70 looks great. Like the fall off the focus, it looks really nice.
Yeah. Why ever have a 24-70 if you can have a 70-200?
Well, I have a 24-70. Except my lighting isn't nearly as nice because I'm just using a ring light and I'm at 24. If I were at 70, it'd be too much.
It's a little too close.
It's a little too much.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about this camera at all, Sam.
I know, but Wendy asked, "Hello, I'd like to know how many cameras Sam has broken."
Do you feel like you've broken a lot?
I actually have not. I've had one camera in my possession that has gotten broken, but it wasn't my fault. It was the fact that there was a bunch of fog and moisture in the air that it broke. But that's actually the only camera that, I'm trying to think back now. I think that's the only camera that's actually been broken due to my
negligence.
Possession of it.
It
wasn't negligent. How in the world should I have known that it was going to be so foggy that there would be water through my tent through my camera bag to the point that I mean everything was soaked. Not just my camera, everything was soaked. So like I don't know. It's not my fault, Wendy. I promise. Anyways, so yeah, we're talking about the Q2. This is it. I got the Reporter edition, so it has sort of the screen finish on it. White markings on the top here. This Kevlar front that is so incredibly extra. But I got my first dive into Leica was the Leica Q, and that camera, when I was traveling a bunch and on tour with a band, was really just like the best walk around, low key, and still getting amazing quality photos. And I still use that camera to this day. For a long time, I didn't see a need to get a Q2. I loved my Leica Q. And I had my Sony A7R III for a long time, and then that broke, and then I went and got the Leica SL2, and that was just really large, and for my type of shooting wasn't quite right. So then I sold that and got the Leica M11, which I loved, and is an amazing camera. Probably one of the best sensors I've ever. I don't know. It's an incredible camera. But again, for my sort of quick run and gun like street stuff, I love going and shooting film and being in that mindset. But for digital, it wasn't quite right, and there's still a huge demand for that camera. So I actually was able to sell it for a really good price, and I wasn't really sure what to do at that point. I love the glass and optics of Leica, and put a lot of weight in that, but wasn't sure what camera to do. And then went to a Leica store with Will, and they happened to have the Leica Q2, and so I just and the
Not
Reporter,
just the Leica Q2, but the Reporter edition, which is the one specifically that you wanted.
Yeah. And so that's the one I got, and it's been a week today.
A week? Oh my gosh! Wow, this week went by fast.
Yeah, it was a wild week. Yeah, it's been a really fun week. I mean, granted, I've had tons of computer work, so I haven't gotten to do as much with it as I want to, but I'm really excited to just knowing what the camera is capable of, knowing how I shoot with the Leica Q, and that now I have more megapixels, I have better low light. Just overall, some of the changes they made I think are really good. On the Q, when you turned it on, you would go from single to continuous, and like just in that lever do all three of those, and now it's just on, which makes a lot more sense. Weather sealed, which is amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you? I mean, you who had the Q1, do you feel like now that? I mean, I know you've shot with mine before, but like, how do you feel like it has been helping, or like, is it vastly different in controls physically? I mean,
like physically, it is very, very similar. There's less buttons on it. It's a little bit like the back. Mine had I think it's 5 buttons back here. It's really, really similar though, to be honest. The biggest annoyance honestly was just when I turn it on the Q, there's one more turn on thing. Like it'd go from single to continuous in one thing. That was really annoying. But still has like the macro ring, has the f-stops here on the front, can go automatic. Everything's basically the same. But I have gone and edited a couple raw images, and I love high megapixel cameras, and especially for a fixed 28, it just makes this camera a bit more. I can shoot a bit wider and crop in later if I need to. On the Q, I really didn't have as much flexibility there. So yeah, it's a fantastic camera. I really, for my style of photography and for the types, being discreet, not being noticed necessarily, taking like some of the best optics in the world. Like this lens is incredible. It's autofocus. Lenses aren't autofocus, and if they are, they're much larger. And this is like a compact, lightweight little thing, and it takes incredible photos. And for how I use cameras and stuff, this is my favorite camera I've ever had, like hands down. Yeah.
And
for
you were
photography. For photography.
and you were so like questioning whether you should get it or not, and like you had the M11, which is also a high, if not higher, megapixel camera.
Yeah,
Um,
60,
but
61.
it's
Yeah.
manual focus. It's very different. It's a very different experience, which you can get out of the Q2 because you could still manually focus on it, but you're not looking through like a rangefinder. It's not as heavy. Like there are huge
Yeah.
differences. Not
Yeah. I mean, just the mindset of what lens do you want to take photos on? You know, do I want to take photos on 35? Do I want to shoot on 90? And rangefinder, I feel like I got pretty good with the rangefinder thing. I've been taking photos on my Leica M6, which is a film camera, which is a rangefinder for a while now, and I feel like I've gotten pretty good at that type of focusing. Um, but it's a way different experience. And I would go out and take like 10 photos, and it's much slower, much more methodical, much more slow pace, which I do enjoy. But when it comes to street photography or traveling and stuff, I love shooting from the hip. I love being quick, almost being like people not noticing that I took a photo, or just like asking if I can and taking it really quick. But when I do it with the rangefinder, it's kind of like, it's a much slower process.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's they're all great cameras. They're all tools, right? They're all like, how do you like to take photos? Is the real thing. And I've just realized that this is a camera that for its size, for its quality of glass, for its simplicity, I really love.
I think it's really cool. I mean, I don't think we described. I mean, I imagine if you've clicked on this video or you're watching, maybe you know what the Leica Q2 is, but when you get it down to its bare bones, it's a point and shoot fixed lens camera with a high megapixel count. I mean, that's it, right? Like it's simple. It's got one lens on it that you cannot remove. It does not come off. There are 0 ports on it. Like you can't plug anything into this camera. It's got one battery door and an SD door.
One SD slot.
One SD slot.
Can't do two. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so freaking simple, but at the same time, it's like a glass, and it's like a digital camera for quite a bit of money. Like it's not a cheap camera.
But what's remarkable is that like one of their lenses, the 28 f1.4, for example, that's a close to $6,000 lens.
Right.
This camera costs the same amount. It's an f1.7, not f1.4, but it's like
it's basically that lens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
plus a camera body.
Like if you're within the Leica system, it's kind of like, it's ridiculous, but their base numbers that you're talking about are like $4,000, $5,000 at the base. They're really like, their amazing lenses are $12,000.
Yeah.
And this, that it's just a ridiculous world to start talking about like lens costs. But, and we've talked about this before, Will, but I think our history and our work in the like more cinema world and working with lens packages that are hundreds of thousands of dollars
per
yeah. We've seen what optics can really be and how beautiful they can be, what the fall off can be, what it means to have no vignetting, to have no chromatic aberration, and just that sort of 3D pop that Leica glass offers. It's just to me, it's hard to go back to other things for photography, just because the clarity you get is. I mean, of course, these other lenses are wonderful, and a lot of these, this lens looks incredible too, but it doesn't give me the same
feeling.
Doesn't have the same feel.
Yeah, for sure. And like,
but you've had the Q2 for 6 months, a year,
than that, like
10 years,
pre-pandemic. Yeah, I think. Wow. I think right when we got back from our first trip. It was like right around just before. Or it was just right during the pandemic. It must have been. Because remember I tried to use the Fuji X Pro 2, Pro 3 as like my Q2. And it just couldn't get there, like quality-wise. It was smaller than the Q2, which was nice. And then once I got the Q2, I was obsessed with Leica at that point. Thought everything looked beautiful. Failed as a second photographer for a wedding on my Fujis. and was like, I'm switching everything to Leica. That's it. I'm switching camera systems. But that the Q2 was the entry point, which I think it is for a lot of people. But not only is the Q2 my little digital camera that I take with me literally everywhere I go, it is my go-to daily driver camera.
Mhm.
It has been beaten to crap at this point already, and it still works perfectly. Like there are dings all over it. What I've gone to Guatemala with it, I've gone to Mexico with it, I've gone to all over the United States with it, I've gone camping with it, I've gone off-roading with it, I've gone horseback riding with it. Uh, and it's fine. And it's like it's been in the rain, it's been in dirt and dust and sand, and maybe not as much sand, but it definitely has like, it's a little tank of a camera, and it
Yeah.
looks freaking amazing. And on top of all that, I still use it to shoot a lot of my wedding stuff
Right.
professionally. Like I have my bigger mirrorless camera that's an interchangeable Leica SL2S on one side, and then I have my Q2 on the other side. And it's like still like a phenomenal. I think the last wedding I did, the couple was very much more into this journalistic black and white feel, and I think I may have shot more photos on that Q2 than my normal camera, which is like wild to think that I can shoot an entire wedding on a Q2 28 millimeter full frame camera. Like
Absolutely.
wild to think about.
I mean, some of my favorite portraits, and I don't do a lot of portraiture work, but like I think, and maybe it's sort of not brainwashing, but just like because most smartphones are 28 millimeters, like that's sort of the focal length that a lot of us have gotten used to, and like when you add the f1.4 and the fall off of the Leica glass and the Leica look, it's like a focal length we're used to seeing, and but better. And I think for portraiture, it's wonderful when you're a little bit wider, you still get a little bit of fall off. And then when you get in close, it is amazing. You can do macro stuff to do those little
Oh
detail
yeah,
shots.
I'd even talk
Like,
about that.
yeah, like it's such an incredibly diverse camera. And if you know what you're doing, like I think it's the best camera ever made. Or one of them at least. I haven't obviously shot with all the cameras in the world, but it's yeah, I'm excited to take it and have it be like sort of a professional. Uh, I don't know, to really like just have this one camera for the next year and yeah, see how it does.
I took it on a cinematography job where I was shooting some internal videos for Sam Adams, and we ended up using the 120 frames per second video mode on the Q2, which I think comes out at 1080, but like it still looks great, and the autofocus is pretty fine. Like it's good. It's not as good as like the Sony here, but it's good. So I think that's what's so wonderful about that little camera is like it comes in as a pinch, and you can use it professionally if you need to. I don't know. I mean, are you
Yeah.
why did you get the reporter edition? Because they're very different, our two cameras. Mine's classic black with all the normal markings, and Sam's is like a military green bulletproof camera.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. So now, okay, so Leica does all these different kind of types of their various cameras. So they have like monochrome edition, which is a only black and white option, and they
Oh,
have a few different cameras that do that. Um, and then they'll do different sort of series. So they had a Greg Williams and Daniel Craig 007 Q2. They
yeah,
had like little markings of various things. They just came out with a seal, as in the artist edition, and it has its own little thing. They had the reporter edition, which they actually just came out with the SL2S, which also has the same Kevlar finish and green.
it's cool.
Um, and it's, for me, the reporter edition, I think aesthetically it looks cool. There's that. Um, I also like how the classic looks, but one thing, it doesn't have the classic red dot of Leica.
Oh, right.
And actually, outside of on the back here, it says Leica Wetzlar, Germany. Germany. There's no other. I mean, I guess there's a Leica in the front here, but it's not like a flashy, like red dot Leica like promotion thing, and so it's
I mean,
kind of more discreet in that way.
yeah, honestly, it looks like a toy from here. Like you wouldn't. I think a lot of people, and I don't want to like speak ill will of fanboys, but there's a lot of people that kind of venture towards Leica because of that red dot, because of the like logo, because it's like a symbol.
I mean, it's to some degree can be status symbol. It can be like wearing a Rolex or something.
Yeah.
Like it's, they're well named, reputable brand. I mean, something that I will say, like they, when it comes to optical engineering and how they run themselves as a business, the artistry that I think their constructions are, it's they're paying these people very well to do this amazing work that I don't know, you can factory make and mass produce a lot of these lenses, and they're great. They've gone really, really good in that. But there's something about, they cost so much because of how they run themselves as a business. The other thing for me, I will say with the reporter edition, there's a story of a reporter being wartime photographer who actually a bullet hit their camera, and reportedly like saved their life. But Leica has a long history of being there in these momentous occasions. And back in the day when there weren't 1,000 photographers everywhere with their smartphones, and you really were one of a few people with a camera taking photos in these different pivotal moments in history. I like that. I like that more than like I love 007 too, but to get the 007 version or the SEAL version. Like there's something about that history with Leica that I really like. And for me, like this is a camera I hope to have for a very, very long time. You know, and so my hope is just that it's like a little part of the history of it. So yeah, I don't, I hope to never need to like be like, oh, thank God I bought the Kevlar edition that stopped this bullet that flew
Yeah,
out.
I don't think you're ever gonna.
But
But
yeah,
honestly, like, yeah, if I was gonna buy one right now between this one and that one, I'd probably get the reporter. I just like that the logo's gone. Honestly, that's all I really like. No
yeah.
problem. I do like the black and white one because all the markings are black and white. But then you can only take black and white photos. Which,
Well, this one's black
wow,
and white
look at
now
that
too.
close focus. And that little macro part was the part where you can
Yeah.
adjust. You can make the lens becomes a macro
You can see
lens.
the feet marker change.
So cool. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a great camera. I just wanted to have you jump on here so we could talk about it. I feel like there's probably a million things of content about the Q2 on the internet, but
Right.
it continues to be like one of their flagship digital cameras at this point, and that's why they come out with so many versions. I imagine the Q3 is going to be hopefully just as good, if not better. I guess it just depends what they do. You have any like? Is it easy for you to show us some examples? I think I might have a Lightroom pulled up. If you
If
don't,
you have a Lightroom pulled up, I have a couple photos from the other day.
well, you can get those together.
Yeah.
I can show you. So like, I was
Yeah.
a groomsman in a wedding on Saturday, and I need to go through and edit all these photos. This is just going to be some good live stream practice because I haven't really done much of this before. So let's see if this works. There it is. Now you should be able to see my little Lightroom catalog with this event that I went to, and I actually took the Leica Q2 with me to some rehearsal dinner events. But on these images, you can see up here,
I'm
there's
not. I'm
you're not
not
seeing.
seeing.
Maybe give it a sec. You might not be
Oh,
able
there
to
it is.
see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. Yep.
I actually have a 1/4 inch or a 1/4 pro mist black pro mist filter on here, so you can see the like that's the groom sister. You can see the blooming in the highlights. Let me see if I can get to the actual day of the wedding. But yeah, so for me it was like just about carrying it around with me during the day. And just taking photos of dudes getting ready, and like I'll probably flip a lot of these to black and white. There's me and my friend Blake. Like it's so small. Like look how small it is. This is a little noisy when you start to pixel peep at it, but as like a photo itself, it's blooming because of my Pro Mist on there. But man, it is such a great camera. And people are like not intimidated by it too, so you can really take it to these places where like people don't need to be scared of like this really scary looking big camera. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I'm just zooming through these. I don't know if you have any like photos on you, but like I was able to take some like portraits of this family at the same time as like taking candids of, you know, people at my table. Which was really like, you know, really fun, especially for like a photographer. Oh, David's not going to like that I'm sharing this photo. But yeah, man. I mean, so fun.
Yeah.
Quality's so nice. I was trying to find, oh, here we go. And like it renders nice at night, even though this is like a, I mean, it should say, what is it, 6400 ISO, and I'd make this black and white just to make it pop. And because of the high megapixels, easily can be able to zoom in and like, you know, still maintain quality in what we're doing. So yeah, dude, I love it.
Cool. It's cool. Yeah.
That one's out of focus. There we go. Look at that. Might need a little noise reduction, but again, this is at 6400 ISO. So dark in this room. 1.7. I only go down to a 125th, so we're still capturing stuff. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this camera. It's just super fun, wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's easy to get so lost in the whole gear thing and what to get next and all this stuff. And it's all about like, A, what can you afford, but also, you know, how are you going to use it?
Totally.
And I think for me, like, you know, I do a lot of video work, so I have those cameras, but when it comes to just ease of sort of portability and quality, it's so hard for me to beat this camera.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's, I don't know. Initially, I was like, it's so ridiculous. Like, it's a super expensive point and shoot camera, which it is. But so are all of our smartphones, you know, like they're like the most used camera at this point, and it's because they're easy to use, they're accessible, and then you throw on top of that like super high quality, and it's everything for me. But yeah, I don't have like 4 photos
No
I
worries.
transferred to
We
my
decided
phone.
to do this live stream like an hour ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're ill prepared.
Let's do, you know,
We'll plan something out.
yeah, plan something out, do like, you know, month in retrospect or something, and I can pull some photos together and sort of
all right,
put
1 month from
together.
now,
Yeah.
live stream, we're gonna go over some Q2 photos.
Well, that's Turkey Day, so maybe.
Oh, we don't have to schedule it right now, but next month we'll do it.
Okay.
Well, thanks for talking to me, man. I mean, is there any other things you want to say about the Q2? Oh, you know what I said in the description? We were going to quickly talk. I wanted to keep this at 30 minutes, but
Okay.
we got 2 minutes. But like Leica also announced a brand new making of an M6, which is like the redo of the like old M6 that they started production in 1984 and stopped in like the 90s or 2000s or 90s or something.
Yeah, it's not that long ago that they stopped it. I feel
And
like.
now they've revamped it, and it's basically like it's like their flagship 35 mil rangefinder, like a camera that the Q2 is probably modeled after in a way, as like a, you know, looking anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
you have an M7 with you? Is it near you?
Yeah, I have to run.
No, don't worry about it. But yeah, I think it's cool that they're making these new film cameras, but at the same time, like you can still find an old M6 for like $2 or $3 grand, maybe a little
More than that.
more than that, 3 to 5 grand. Like they hold their value like crazy. What's the point of buying a brand new one when you can just save a little money on a cheaper one?
The finishing and like, you know,
Okay.
the idea is that these cameras will last you generations. Like the idea is that this is going to be a camera you hand down. It's very, very analog, and they changed a couple things, but I think it's just because they can, and there's a market for people. You know, the old M6s are going at a high enough price point that if people are paying that much for them, why not buy a brand new one that costs the same amount? And like
Fair.
it can do that.
Fair.
And they make it. I mean, it's, I don't know. I really film was dead when we were leaving college, kind of. Like, I think we were one of the last classes to shoot on film for our like video project or film projects and stuff. But like, it was kind of like, oh, like Kodak's going business, Fuji's going business. Like, these aren't going to be things anymore. And it's like, and it's just not done that. And it's like research, and it's cool, and it's like there's still this appreciation for film.
Yeah.
And I love that that's a thing. Like, I'm so glad that that's a thing. And if Leica wants to be a part of that conversation and keep it going, like, by all means, keep doing it.
Shoot more film.
Yeah, I actually, one of my favorite cameras that I just leave on my like entryway thing is this little Contax T3, and this is a Carl Zeiss glass. It's like really good optics. This became super popular all of a sudden because an actress, I forget who, someone famous was like seen on set taking photos with it, and then like it jumped up in price. But it's like such a great point and shoot, simple, throw it in my pocket when I go out, take fun photos. I've been taking this one roll for the last like, I don't know, 2 months basically. Zendaya, yeah. She's on like Euphoria or something, or I don't know.
Euphoria,
she's on
Spider-Man, Dune, all the biggest things.
Well, but she's on set of one of those. Like,
oh yeah, I think she was on the set of Spider-Man taking pictures of her and Spider-Man. What's his name?
Tom Holland.
Yeah, Tom Holland. Yeah. But they're great.
But yeah,
the vibe. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe, and the fact that film stocks are still getting made, and there's new ones coming out, and it's, I mean, who would have thought like Instagram filters and the fact that you can like throw a look on, and then like that relates to people being like, oh, film stocks are like filters, and like,
yeah, like you can just make them.
It has a certain look. Like, it's like, yeah, this was photography. This is what, why people shot certain film stocks for certain things, was because of the color rendering. But yeah, no, it's cool. That's still a thing. I'm really glad it's still a thing.
Cool. Yeah.
Are we just going to like do a bunch of talks on Leica stuff now?
I don't know. I was just so excited about your camera, and we were already in live mode from everything that I'm about to plug. Today we had a competition announcement on the Facebook group that we run for photography and friends. So if you take any of our classes on Udemy or videoschool.com, you can actually join this Facebook group. We're up to like, what did it say? Like 94,000.
We're almost at 100,000
people. Yeah, are in that group, and which is like just mind blowing. Like, we started that group like wild. Like, that many people subscribe to like each other and help each other with photography. In addition, we do a live stream every week for Photography and Friends Plus, which is our paid subscription program where you can join. And that is also a much smaller group where we are interacting with you weekly on Zooms face to face. So yeah, we were just set up in this live stream mode, and I felt like we needed to like just talk for fun from my YouTube page. We should do more of these. And you should check out our last video. We went and chased down some wild Mustangs on my channel, where Sam used the A7 A74 with a 200 to 600 millimeter giant telephoto lens to take some photos of wild horses that we chased down at 5 a.m. Yeah, so check that video out.
We gotta get back out there.
We will. We got lots to do, Sam.
Another photo adventure.
Yeah. In the meantime, I have to go edit and drink some water, maybe take a nap. All right. Well, thanks for being here, man. Leave us a comment below what camera you're using if you like Leica. I hope you're rewatching this, and check all our stuff out. What's your website? Sam? Yeah, shmizujones.com.
shmizujones.com. All my social media stuff is at shmizujones or at shmizujones.
Videoschool.com, photographyandfriends.com, WilliamCarnahan.com, William Carnahan on the Instagram, Will Carnahan here. We're going to go.
Yeah, why is William Carnahan on YouTube?
Couldn't get it. There's a guy that's a musician that has it.
Oh.
I think I'm almost caught up in followers to him, though, so one day I'll
I wonder if he has Will Carnahan on Instagram then.
He might. I should check.
You guys should just like
just switch.
You're willing. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta take the William though. It's just a staple. All right, man.
Yeah. Take care.
See ya. How do I end broadcast? Oh, click on end broadcast.